Janelle Fitzpatrick, board member, second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Clayton, Dr. Clayton. All those, all nominations. Thank you. All right, hearing none, all of those in favor of appointing Janelle as president, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, now we switch.
Like Dr. Dykes and Dr. Clayton.
Right, there's so much.
They're going to leave you alone, right?
I still see the resemblance.
They brothers, but different mothers, right?
Thank you for the vote. And as the comedian Louis Black says, don't know where to expect. Somebody's going to repeat Louis Black, of course. Okay. Next, I would like to nominate Katie Hutchinson for vice president. Make a motion to nominate Katie for vice president.
Second.
Do we have any other nominations? All those in favor of Katie as vice president signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
Next, I would like to nominate Dr. Milt Clayton for secretary. I can move that we nominate Milt for secretary.
Second.
Do we have any other nominations? All those in favor of Dr. Clayton for secretary signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
Next, I would like to make a motion to approve Dr. Tom Dykle as our treasurer.
Second.
Okay.
Comments or questions?
I said question.
Oh, okay. All right. All those in favor of Dr. Tom Dykle as treasurer, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, I would like to make a motion to approve Jennifer Cato as our deputy treasurer.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay. All right, all those in favor of approving Jennifer Cato as deputy treasurer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We'll have the board salutes tonight. Our first item is approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda as submitted by the superintendent.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Now I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meetings. And that was a regular and public hearing meeting minutes.
Second.
You just,
You made the motion.
I did?
Yeah. You.
All right, okay.
Maybe I'm.
All right, any questions or comments on those minutes? All those in favor of approving the minutes from the previous meetings signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We have no public comments on agenda items tonight. So our next item is approval of the consent agenda. Board, can we have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. Do we have any questions or comments? I would like to make a couple of comments. One is that I believe the travel report, any of the travel that we have, I think is paid for the most part from grants this time. And the transfer of bus contract that is part of the consent agenda.
I'm sorry.
Right, yeah. The transfer of bus contract is a transfer from, I believe, an individual to an LLC.
Yes.
So it's not any kind of new contract or anything like that. Any other questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Board, two people here that are on the personnel report I'd like to introduce. First one being Miss Julie Strait, who, as you know, has been the principal at Jeffersonville High School for several years and has done a great job there, and is going to join us here at the administration building as our academy and CTE coordinator. So I want to introduce Julie and welcome her aboard. And her replacement for the rest of the year, Pam Hall, was on the personnel report as the interim principal for Jeff High through the rest of the year. I want to welcome her aboard and thank her for stepping up to step into that role and take it on the rest of the year. I appreciate her doing that. Welcome, Pam. No? Okay. You're both good?
Yeah, thank you very much. We're excited.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
we're not following along very well there, but thank you very much. We are both excited for both positions. We'll make it a smooth transition.
Thank you.
Our next item is gifts to buildings.
So we had several large donations, GCCS Foundation, GCCS Education Foundation, well, to and from both of those things, City of Charlestown and the PTO. City of Charlestown gave $2,500 this year, funding Charlestown Middle School. Total donations for this period was $7,803.38. I move to approve these gifts today. I think should that.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor of approving gifts to buildings signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Our next item is conflict of interest disclosure statement for board members.
Good evening. Board members are required to complete and file a conflict of interest disclosure statement each year. And this conflict disclosure statement sets out any conflicts such as relationships or financial interests that you may have with the school corporation. Indiana code requires these statements be submitted to the board and approved in public vote, which you're doing today. With this vote, you will be voting on all statements together with an acknowledgement for the record that each member abstains from voting on his or her own statement.
Board, can I have a motion?
I move that we approve the conflict of interest disclosure statements for each individual board member.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Nobody knows? Yes. Excuse me.
Yes.
Do we just do one
Just go
vote?
ahead and one vote, and with your each acknowledging
Okay.
that you will abstain or on your own conflict of interest.
Okay. All those approving the conflict of interest disclosure statements for each individual board member, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Thank you.
And I believe you're staying up there, right, Ms. Gelbacher?
Correct.
For resolution to designate the superintendent to apply for and accept grants.
That's correct. If you recall, during our last work session, I I presented a proposal for the board to approve a resolution to designate the superintendent or one of his designees to be able to apply for various grants. This would be both non-matching and matching federal and state grants due to the time-sensitive nature of the deadlines. This resolution also allows us to accept non-matching grants. All matching grants will, of course, come back to the board for approval.
Board, may I have a motion, please?
I move to approve the resolution to designate the superintendent to apply for the grants applications.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I have a question. Should we also include his designee? Because it
It's,
doesn't say it in here. To designate the superintendent to apply for the accept grants, so or designate. It's
On the action.
Yeah,
On the actions.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's both in my request and then also in the action.
okay.
So either our
Just want to make sure
superintendent
we was clear that it was on there.
or,
Yes.
yes, federal department or whoever would
Yes.
apply for them.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of this resolution to designate superintendent to apply for and accept grants, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? I believe this Gilmaker, you're staying up there again. For the memorandum of understanding with CASI for community garden.
That's correct. The Community Action Southern Indiana is purchasing Spring Hill Elementary School building. They will take possession on or before July 1st of this year. However, in the meantime, they'd like to go ahead and start utilizing some of the property. It won't impact our school use or the students' use. There is a section of green grass area in the back that they would like to go ahead and start working on a community garden. And it's necessary for them to go ahead and start now so they can get the soil ready and start ordering the seeds and planting the seeds. This will be a community garden, and Cassie is working with the Jeffersonville Urban Enterprise Association with funding. There will be lots of healthy food options they will be growing. There will be pumpkin patch, strawberry patches, and they will, it will be available for all of our community residents, our students. And after they take over the building, they welcome the community help with that. And they will be using lots of low-cost ecological landscape methods, biodegradable weed barriers. It's a very exciting project. And so with this memorandum of understanding, Kathy will be able to go ahead and start working on the land. They will provide all the supplies. We're not paying for anything. They're providing labor, all of the seeds, the soil, things like that.
Board, can I have a motion, please?
Madam President, I move that we accept the MOU with Cassie for the community garden at Springdale.
I'll second it. I didn't want to ask a question.
Okay, questions and comments?
So the folks that are going to be working on this, are they all, are they going to be subcontractors? Are they going to be, I mean, proximity to the kids and that sort of thing? I'm just curious of what.
Sure, this is actually, so Cassie employees or
Sure.
Cassie members.
Okay.
The only outside organization would be any delivery of like soil or
I got you.
raised bed supplies,
Okay.
things like that. But they would not be in the school.
Right, I just was just kind of curious.
Any other questions?
I'm sorry, as a matter of fact, just to clarify, they will also be trying their best to do this after school hours and
Okay.
so that it doesn't, again, it doesn't impact our school day at all.
Okay.
And that's in this as well.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of approving the MOU with Cassie for a community garden, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, thank you. Next item is preschool program and fee structure, and we have Brooke Lane.
Good evening, board.
Presented to you tonight is a proposal for changes to the current preschool program. These proposed changes will increase the number of preschool programs across the district. These changes will also be financially beneficial as we partner with Indiana's On My Way pre-K program. Greater Clark families will be given the opportunity to receive funding towards high-quality preschool programs. The proposed changes will be implemented at the start of the 2021 school year. I'm going to start by giving you some highlights of our current programming, and then I'll go into the proposed changes. I wanted to give you just some background information on the benefits of preschool first. Research shows us that high-quality early childhood programs prepare children for future success in school. That's shown through improved test scores over time, less retention, increased enrollment in advanced courses, increased engagement, and overall increased confidence. From birth through age 5 is the most important time for growth of the human brain. A child's brain develops in response to the child's experiences by building neurological networks in reaction to the environment. I think right now in Greater Clark, we are confident that our programs do provide a very positive environment for that brain development and growth. Currently, our preschool programs within our district are 7 half-day programs. All of these programs are serviced by licensed teachers. The following elementary buildings are broken down to show the number of students that are serviced in those buildings. We currently service 25 students at North Haven Elementary, 23 at Bridgepoint, 29 at Parkwood, 30 at Pleasant Ridge, 29 at New Washington, 31 at Spring Hill, and 29 at Riverside, for a total of 196 students total. I do want to note that that is a combination of typical and special education students. The current cost for our program is $150 per year. Free and reduced eligible families do attend for free or at a reduced rate. Transportation is also provided to those students who qualify for free lunch. We service special education students and general education students in inclusive classrooms. We are Paths to Quality compliant programs. Currently, all of our GCCS programs are at a level 3. If you're not familiar with Paths to Quality, that's Indiana's Child Care Quality Rating and Improvement System. We also use, I did not put this bullet point on there, but we also use Early Childhood Foundations as our curriculum. That does align with the Indiana academic standards, so it really gives our children a nice firm basis as they enter kindergarten and beyond. Our proposed preschool changes for the 2021 school year. Expand to all elementary buildings. So this would include 10 elementary buildings. I did exclude Jonathan Jennings Elementary in that equation just because they are a 3 through 5 building and it does not pertain to them. We would have 4 locations that are program specific to service our special education students. That would be Bridgepoint, Riverside, Parkwood, and Pleasant Ridge, which is currently where we have programs in place. We would transition to a full-day program for all students. Full-day transportation would also be provided to all students. You will find shortly when I do some comparisons with other districts that that will be a huge benefit for our families because that is not something that other districts typically offer. We will be continuing with Paths to Quality at that level 3 compliance. And there will be an added preschool supervisor. This position would be responsible for holding professional developments, facilitating and mapping the curriculum of the program, and then helping with the On My pre-K implementation as well.
That's a real quick question.
Sure.
You mentioned in the current program, the student activity, the students that attend the schools are blended between special needs and special ed and standard. And the new one is going to be Bridgepoint, Riverside, Park, Pleasant Ridge.
Correct.
So people will be watching their special needs be transported to Pleasant Ridge?
That's a great question. So we have talked about that because currently we do have students right now who attend Pleasant Ridge Elementary who are not of preschool age, who have to be serviced with more special education support that New Washington necessarily doesn't offer. For preschool programming, what we would look at is that supervisor position would allow students to stay in their home school. More intensive needs, it would really be based off of a case-by-case basis. More intensive needs may possibly have to be transported to Pleasant Ridge Elementary, but some of those students would be able to stay in their home school.
Would that transport be covered under the new program?
Yes. The cost for the proposed changes would be $150 per week. At this time, I'm going to ask that you refer to the fee structure that was submitted separately. I don't know if you have a hard copy document of that, Renee, I might have to get you to pull that up. I wanted to make sure that we focus, because there is such a great increase of the current fees that are charged to the proposed changes, that we had a comparison of what other corporations comparable to our size were doing. I did include Bartholomew Consolidated Schools on here. I know they are a bit away from us in Columbus, Indiana, but they are the most comparable in size and demographics. So I did include them on here as well. New Albany-Floyd County Schools currently is implementing a $150 a week rate for their students. That is a full day, but again, no transportation is provided to those students. Madison Consolidated Schools also somewhat comparable to our size, full day programming with no transportation provided. I did not include on the chart here, but I did look into some prices for private preschool programming. Currently, it's very difficult to find full day programming that is not a combination of childcare. So a lot of programs will do half day preschool programming, and then that second portion of the day is childcare. So it was very hard to find rates that were going to be comparable to the full day. Example is a Monday through Thursday programming. Half day was $500 a month, and that was pretty average. But again, I think you're looking at half day programming that full day programming is quite a bit more time for students. Are there questions on the fee structure?
Do any of these organizations offer reduced fees for people that are under reduced lunches?
That's a great question. So that is something that we have discussed. We know that that will impact some families. At the end of the presentation, Erica Woodward through Indiana's On My Way Pre-K program is going to talk about a financial piece that will help understand that a little bit more. But we have considered looking into reduced rates for those families who don't necessarily qualify for that On My Way Pre-K programming, but who maybe need some assistance. So yes. As I mentioned, we're looking at a partnership with the On My Way Pre-K program. We would continue services for students with disabilities under federal law as we do now. We would continue to maintain our high-quality programs with the addition of our added classrooms. In 6 of the 10 locations, we would look at staffing those classrooms with a child development associate, otherwise known as a CDA. So that means that 6 of our 10 classrooms would be serviced by someone else other than a licensed teacher. The 4 special needs classrooms would be serviced again by that licensed teacher under federal law. The CDA, there are many, many paths in ways that you can obtain a CDA. IB Tech has a program for that certification, and so we would be looking at hiring 6 CDAs to fill those classrooms. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Erica Woodward. She is the project manager for Indiana's On My Way Pre-K program. At the conclusion of her presentation, I'll come back up and answer any questions you might have.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Erica Woodward, and I'm with Indiana's On My Way Pre-K program under the Family and Social Services Administration of the state of Indiana. Hopefully by now, everyone in the room is familiar with what On My Way Pre-K is, and by the end of tonight, I hope you're a little bit more familiar with it. If not, we're here to answer any questions that you have. What is On My Way Pre-K? On My Way Pre-K is Indiana's state-funded pilot administered by the Family and Social Services Administration. Pre-K in Indiana is under, again, the Family and Social Services Administration. That is due to the age of the children. They are not 6 and 7. They are 3 and 4. And along with that comes special safety guidelines and child care licensing guidelines. And that's why it's under the Family and Social Services Administration. And the primary goal of the On My Way Pre-K pilot is to promote access to high-quality pre-K for low-income children in all counties. Low-income children who have not had preschool start kindergarten up to 18 months in achievement behind their peers. And without access to preschool, this achievement gap is still present at age of 10. In the 2016 and 2017 school year, 3,389 students repeated kindergarten. That cost the state of Indiana $23 million in funding to retain 90% of these students. So, if you are a low-income student in the state of Indiana and your family cannot afford to send you to preschool, what will we see? They weren't going. If you have a choice between paying your electric bill or sending your child to preschool, you're probably going to pay the electric bill. So the goal is to have all children in Indiana in high-quality programs, and that is why On My Way Pre-K was created. How is preschool funded in Indiana? In the year 2019 and 2020, years before that we just won't get into, but now state funds, you have On My Way Pre-K. That's it. You have federal funds, which is the Child Care Development Fund, that's CCDF, those are child care vouchers, and we will talk about that here in a bit. And you have Head Start, those are also federal dollars. And you have private donors funding pre-K in some Indiana counties, and you have parents self-pay. If you were not in a pilot county prior to 2019 for On My Way Pre-K, and you were a school district, you were probably picking up the tab from preschool here in Indiana. And that's just how it is and how it's been. We have to prove, we know that preschool is needed and warranted, but we have to prove it with the On My Way Pre-K program. So part of House Bill 1004, which is the On My Way Pre-K bill, states that On My Way Pre-K children are studied by Purdue University. It's called a Purdue Longitudinal Study. This evaluation is designed to answer the state legislators' mandated questions about the effectiveness of Indiana's On My Way Pre-K program. We're looking to improve children's school readiness, children's early school performance, and parents' school engagement. What it found was the On My Way Pre-K has the potential to improve lower-income 4-year-olds' early learning skills and readiness for kindergarten, especially in language comprehension, early literacy skills, and overall so important school readiness. It showed us things that we weren't expecting also, which is of great importance. What else did it show us? Data showed us that 25% of On My Way Pre-K children would not have attended preschool without this grant. This is a great benefit to Clark County children in preparing them for kindergarten, hands down. This is the data that we did not expect to see in part of the study. 53% of parents reported that this grant enabled them to secure a job or work more hours. This is a great benefit to Clark County parents and our local economy right now. Data proves that the On My Way Pre-K grant not only helps children, but helps families as well. The economical benefits of On My Way Pre-K to future families. Families will receive a full-time On My Way Pre-K grant, including care during the summer months. Remember how we talked about CCDF, those are federal funding, and child care vouchers. So with the On My Way Pre-K grant, a child will get a grant, and the family will get a grant for preschool. They're going to get a grant for before school care, after school care, and summer care. That is a full year voucher. Family co-pays will be waived for other children in the household who are receiving child care vouchers in Indiana. Remember, that's 6 weeks old to age 13. You probably have a copay. It's not always free. You have a copay, depending on the amount of children and what you make. If you have one child receiving the On My Way pre-K grant in that family, family co-pays are waived for the rest of the children. That is how we entice some families to send their child to preschool. So think about it. A family of 4 could essentially pay nothing for preschool and child care for 1 full year. It's a major money saver to our Clark County families. Families will be guaranteed no less, again, than 53-week service. So preschool, before school care, after school care, etc. How will the On My Way pre-K program benefit Greater Clark County schools and families? Low-income children will now have access to high-quality, full-day classroom settings, leading to being kindergarten ready on day 1. Families of On My Way pre-K children will be able to expand their work or school hours, adding again more to our local economy here. Greater Clark County schools will receive a reimbursement rate of $171.60 per child per week from the Family and Social Services Administration. Greater Clark County Schools is the only public school system in Clark County that is participating and offering high-quality early childhood programs. This opens up avenues to bring in more children from other districts. And I do want to applaud Mr. Lochner and Dr. Hartledge and Ms. Lannon for always keeping up with the path to quality. If you remember her mentioning that, that is Indiana's rating system for preschool in Indiana. We want all children in Indiana in licensed, high-quality preschool programs, and they have kept that up. So this is some interesting data here about Clark County. How many 4-year-olds do we have residing here in Clark County? You will see the yellow is Clark County. We have 1,495 children. And the purple is Evansville, Indiana. Red would be Bloomington, and blue is Terre Haute. And then the black is the Indianapolis area. What sticks out about that is we are sitting in an area in this county with more 3- and 4-year-old children than any other county south of Indianapolis besides Evansville. That means we have more 3- and 4-year-olds than Terre Haute and Bloomington. That's a lot of children. A lot of children that need pre-K. How does a family in Clark County qualify for On My Way pre-K? This is part of legislation and will not be changed. Child must be 4 but not yet 5 years old by August 1st. That should say 2020, I apologize. The child must be a resident of Indiana. The parents or guardians in the household must have a service need. What does that mean? That means they have to work, they have to go to school, or attend a job training program. They do not have to work full-time. They don't even have to work part-time. As long as they work 1 hour a week, 1 hour a month, they have what's called a service need. They will receive the On My Way pre-K grant. Those are federal guidelines because, again, we're paired with the child care voucher system. And families must earn less than 127% of the federal poverty level. That being said, there will be a special qualification for the first time this year for families in Indiana for the 2020-2021 school year that will go above 127% of the federal poverty level. I do not want to speak on that tonight because that is up to the Family and Social Services Administration to release that information, and I believe that that's their job to do that. And my bosses from Indianapolis will be coming down to meet with some of your administration to explain those guidelines, because we do want to make sure that the message goes out statewide and is unified at the same time. How does a family get approved for On My Way pre-K? They can apply online from their phone. They can go in person to River Valley Resources in New Albany. River Valley Resources is a state contracted agency to approve the On My Way pre-K vouchers. Families will be notified. We're very adamant about notifying families. They will be notified by text. They're going to get a phone call. They're going to get an email. And they're going to get a packet in the mail. No saying we didn't get notified. They must be approved by the state intake agent in order to receive funding. It does not stop once they apply. they have to be approved on the state application. Applications will open in March to April statewide. That's up to the governor's office to determine when they open. Grants will be first come, first served basis. In 2019, we served 3,500 children. How can you help? You can spread the word about the benefits of full-day preschool leading to kindergarten readiness. You can spread the word about Greater Clark County Schools being a path to quality program. I think we focus a lot on price and full-day, but we need to talk about quality because that's what you have. And that is an important piece when it comes to educating 3 and 4-year-olds. They're the highest of safety and educational standards that your schools have. Share as many things as you can on social media about Greater Clark County Schools preschool program and information. That is the greatest way to reach families, even if we want it to be or not. It just is. Share that families now have the opportunity to receive full-day preschool. And don't forget, there's a child care piece to this when they are approved. Only your district has this funding stream right now in Clark County. Take flyers if you have them anywhere and everywhere you go. And I put at the bottom, this is a team and community effort. When you implement or start something new, it takes a whole village. And everyone in this room is a team.
What's the anticipated target number you serve this year, statewide?
Statewide, it will be 3,500. It will be capped at 3,500. That is the funding that we're allotted as part of legislation. It seems to increase as the years continue, but that is not guaranteed that it will be. But right now, that's what we have.
How many other systems or school systems in the state of Indiana are partnering with on our way?
I couldn't even begin hundreds.
Any chance the governor increases that amount tonight during his State of the State address?
It's not that long.
Okay.
Good question.
I have a question. I don't know if it's for you or for Brooke, but we have a Head Start program in our community. And how is this not a duplication, or what kind of conversations are we having with the folks at Head Start so that we coordinate our efforts and not duplicate our efforts?
That is a great question. They do have different hours. I believe, I can't speak, every county writes their federal Head Start grant different, so ours vary in every county. I believe they are not open on Friday, but I could be mistaken. But that is a conversation between providers being schools, not for us to be.
Okay.
I will add on also, we have a great relationship with our Head Start program. We actually work very closely with them through evaluations. We service students in the Head Start program with speech services. So Emmy Lorigan, one of our supervisors, is frequently visiting the Head Start program. They actually are pretty excited about this opportunity because it's going to expand who they can offer programs to.
I know in a community close to here, the Head Start program here focuses on the younger kids, and then the older preschool kids will go to the preschool program in schools sometimes. And that seems like a good coordination. Do we invite the Head Start staff to our staff development for the early learning?
They have attended before, and we've actually provided professional development to them as well. We have a very, very good working relationship with them. And we plan to continue that. And your statement is true. When they have students who they feel are more needy, they reach out to us because they know they have faith in the programs that we offer. So we feel like that will still continue.
Thank you.
Out of the 1,500 roughly students or children that are in Clark County that are eligible for the programs, how many of them do you anticipate will fall under the 127%? You know that?
I don't. I wish I had that data. It would be so helpful, but that I do not know.
Are we allowed to bring in students or children from other counties, or are we only strictly limited to Clark County?
Absolutely. No.
What
If
about-
they are a resident of Indiana, they can go to your school, another school that takes on Marshall pre-K funding. Is based on parent choice, that once approved for their grant, they can take that grant wherever they want to.
Have we anticipated how to handle transportation for people that are out of the district?
We have not crossed that bridge yet, but if we start to get an influx of students, I definitely think that's something that we could look into. I do know Erica put a portion of this in her presentation. Our neighboring districts within Clark County are not participating in this program, either because they don't qualify to be eligible or they're choosing not to. So every one of those 1,495 students could be ours. So we see that as great potential to draw from other districts outside of just Greater Clark within the county.
Do we have any data that shows how students that go through a preschool program in our system carry forward? Because we're losing, in the past been close to losing students, we're leaving students. Once they get into the system, do they tend to stay in the system, or do we know that, or do we still look at the same?
I'm not sure if we would have concrete data showing that, but I do know the quality of our programs. Parents, families typically fall in love with our programs. Our preschool teachers are top notch. I would encourage you next time you are in buildings to visit a preschool classroom. It'll be the bright spot of your day. I was in one last week, and within a 3-minute period, I heard a conversation about puppies, watermelons, and armpits, all in about 3 minutes. And that teacher took everything in stride. It's amazing. So visit some of our classrooms when you're out doing your regular visits within your buildings. It'll be a bright spot, I promise you. You might learn something about puppies, watermelons, and armpits as well.
I have a question about the 1,400, or well, I'm assuming, let me back up. How are we going to notify parents, and will it be all 1,495 parents of 4-year-olds that will get notification that this is available?
I can answer that. I've had experience, I've covered the southern half of the state with On My Way Pre-K. It started as a pilot program in Jackson County, Seymour, and I covered that area. And then when it expanded to 20 more counties, I covered those areas too. And then when it went statewide, here we are. My experience shows, and maybe it will look different this year in Greater Clark or somewhere else, that it takes a real grassroots effort. Going door to door, telling who you know, taking flyers, telling people, remember, they're not just getting full-day preschool, they're getting the child care component too. And you almost have to put your child care hat on, but the fact that you're going to also offer transportation, wow, that speaks volumes. But how do we get that word out? Any way we can.
I will tell you too, pending tonight's approval, that is something that we are going to hit the ground running with. We have already partnered with the Pro Media Group. They are in the process of getting a video developed for us that's going to highlight our programs and give some On My Way Pre-K information. So that's hopefully going to be our January spotlight to start to get that message out there. On a weekly basis, I would estimate that we get 10 to 15 phone calls in my department asking about preschool registration. So I know the families are out there, and the fact that they are reaching out to us and calling, I think shows that they are they're wanting to prepare, obviously, for the next school year, and that they know what we have to offer. A lot of our families in our programs now are repeat families with multiple children who have repeatedly trusted their children in our programs, and I think that will continue.
And when is opening date for applications?
For On My Way Pre-K, remember, we're funding straight. It's March to April. Legislation states we have to be ready to go by April 1st. We hope to be ready to go in March. That is for the Family and Social Services Administration to decide.
Okay, I'm just thinking about if there's 3,500 families competing, and we have a lot more families than that eligible, how can we like get them on, if we don't have a specific date, how can we say, how can we ensure that they're getting a fair opportunity?
I
Do you
know,
understand what I'm asking?
I know that on our end, we are partnering, we do a camp kindergarten in April, so that date is already on the calendar. We have plans to also have preschool representation there, because a lot of times those families who have kindergarten students typically have younger siblings, so we're hoping to get information out. I think our social media sites will also push that, but our goal is that the second this application opens, we are going to get the word out to families. Right now, the phone calls that we are receiving, we're taking family information, we're taking phone numbers, so that we can reach out to these people once we have the registration process open for them to go in and apply.
So is April 1st the magic date? That's what I'm trying to figure out, or do we not know yet?
Legislation states it has to be April 1st, but we hope it to be in March. This will be the first year going that it is statewide. That happened in May of 2019, that it went statewide. Being that Greater Clark County Schools kept the high-quality preschool programs that they had and their faster quality grading up, they were able to apply immediately. But other school systems statewide have quickly jumped on board. But again, we hope to be ready to go by March. Have to be by April 1st, but hopefully March.
We have the News and Tribune here tonight, so maybe we can get a little help with that message from that lovely lady.
Or do you have any more questions?
No, she's not coming. Expect her to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board, can I have a motion on the preschool program? Oh.
Do you have more?
I don't, if there's no more questions.
Oh,
Board.
Board, can I have a motion on the preschool program and fee structure?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor of the preschool program and fee structure, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the biohazard pickup customer service agreement renewal.
Good evening, Board. In your board package, you have the additional 3-year agreement. It's a continuation of what we currently have in place now. We provide annual hazardous waste material disposal that's generated within our health service department. The biohazard waste consists of sharps and leftover or outdated medication not picked up by parents at the end of the school year. With this agreement, specific waste industries will continue to pick up, transport, treat, and dispose of the materials in a manner consistent with all state and federal laws. SWI will provide the biohazard farm containers as needed for the waste disposal at the same rate as this year. The annual pickup will be scheduled through Teresa Stengel, our health services supervisor, and SWI will then collect the containers and take them to the disposal site. This agreement has been reviewed by Mrs. Governor. So we're asking permission to go over another 3-year agreement.
Board, can I have a motion?
I move that we approve the renewal agreement to the specific waste industries.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor of the agreement, SWI Biohazard Pickup Customer Service Agreement Renewal, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And I believe Dr. Beckwith, you're still up.
I'm here for a while.
Okay.
Next up is the mileage reimbursement. No action is required, it's just information only. We always wait for the IRS to give us our mileage reimbursement for the current year. So the actual rate is going to decrease by a half a penny. It's going to go from 58 cents in 2019 to 57.5 cents. So this will affect all of our employees that go on actual reimbursement. That will be the rate that we're going to use. Okay. Next one is general fund and operation fund appropriation transfers. We do this several times during the course of the year. As we are adjusting our books, we have the appropriation set up, and then sometimes we have to move money around, and we have to do that with board approval. So you can see on the attachment all the money that we moved around. So we're asking permission to approve this.
Board, can I have a motion on the general fund and operations fund appropriation transfers?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the general fund and operations fund appropriation transfers.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I wasn't listening very well. Did you say that we've already moved the money, or this?
This will allow us to move the money.
Oh, then I didn't hear you. Thanks.
What, under the lines, there's $200,000 in two lines, more at the bottom, it says sub-cost. I'm just curious what that
We
means.
just didn't have enough appropriations in the substitute for ESS.
Okay.
That's what we try to budget how much it is, and it just depends on how many subs go through.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of general fund and operations fund appropriation transfers, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Cancellation of outstanding checks.
Yes, this is the time of the year, the first board meeting in January, we come before you, and we have to keep our checks for 2 years on our records until January. So you can see all of them are dated in 17. June 20th must have got a heck of a check because almost all of them are in June. We have $12,513.60 that will go back into the funds where they came from. Now, what we normally do is, if there are employees, we will rewrite the checks that go over $25. So that's been our policy over the last 7 years at least. So we're asking permission to void these checks, and if we so need, we will reissue them for our employees of over $25.
Board, can I have a motion, please?
I move that we approve the canceling of the checks that are outstanding.
Second. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Oh, I had to ask. About the Midwest.
Yeah, that was, I wanted to.
I mean, everything's $12
$12.
or $20, and then it's like
Ours has
$11,000.
went up on that one too. That's surprising.
So they didn't cash the
They
check?
didn't finish the check. We'll find out.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's a big amount. We'll look into that and see
What is Midwest Transit equipment they provided?
our buses. It could be our buses, it could be stuff that we're buying from them, parts, supplies. You have to get a bus for that.
I mean, could that be an open account type of thing?
No, these are the checks that are actually issued.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the cancellation of outstanding checks, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Workers' compensation renewal.
Yes, this is on January to December agreement contract. In 2012, Greater Clark County Schools went to a self-insured workers' comp program, so versus our fully insured plan. So on a self-insured plan, we purchase the basic insurance package, and then excess insurance, and then we pay for all the claims. We also have light duty assignments, which allow us to bring our employees back to work sooner, doing other things than what their job normally would call for. The idea is to just get back to work instead of sitting at home. You can see from 2012, we had anywhere from a low of 74 incidents for the year, or to $108 wise, depending on the severity, and physical therapy and surgeries and everything else. We had a good year at $115,000 that we paid out, and a bad year of $275,000 that we paid out. So far this year in 19 through November, that was the last number I had, We had 95 incidences, and we've already paid out $183,727. Now, we have entered into an agreement with Wellness for Life with the board's permission on October 1st, 2019, for our employees to go to the clinic if they have a workers' comp injury and the clinic is open. So we hope to see a decrease in these costs in years going forward because the clinic is free. So that's what we're hoping for. So you have a copy of the proposal. The insurance coverage is actually going down by $10,417. So it went from $54,000 to $44,560. So we're asking permission to renew this contract with Assured Partners.
Board may have a motion, please.
I move that we accept the contract with Assured Partners for workers' compensation provision.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Are these mass set-asides or are these actual payments? How do we handle a set-aside?
There's a big spreadsheet that I get on my computer. It's about this long, and it's got all the different set-asides that are on it. So I know how much that is too, which would jack these numbers up tremendously, but those are just set-asides.
If we don't pay it,
Exactly.
it rolls back in. I realize that.
I'm just looking at actually what we're going on.
Are we allowed to demand that our people go to, for workers' comp claim, that they go to the clinic?
We direct them.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of the renewal of workman's compensation insurance with Assured Partners, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The Assured Partners workers' compensation fee.
Yes. So a number of years ago, we went from everything being included on a commission basis to individual type fee basis. So everything is now piecemeal. So what we have here is a contract that we have with Assured Partners for them getting us the workers' comp insurance, bidding it out to different vendors and everything, monitoring it during the course of the year. We have quarterly meetings that come in and sit down with workers' comp with us. And their fee for 2020 was $15,000. So we're asking permission to enter into this agreement with Assured Partners for $15,000 for workers' comp.
Board may have a motion, please.
I move that we approve the workers' compensation fee of $15,000 with Assured Partners.
And a second.
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments?
I don't understand this. I mean, we're paying them $15,000, I know about, we're paying them $15,000 to do what?
For their services to bid it out,
To bid out workers' comp?
to bid out the workers' comp insurance, because they ended up coming up with 4 or 5 different companies. Also, the quarterly meetings, we send them all the first reports of injuries. So there's a lot of monitoring that they end up doing during the course of the year. So that was it.
Why is that not included in our other vendor that bids out the insurance?
You mean MJ? Because we didn't ask them to do the workers' comp. That's all. Now, we can do that in the future. MJ does, I found out MJ, we were looking at MJ just strictly for health vision benefits.
Right.
For those benefits, we weren't looking at them for this. I also found out that they do property casualty, so now next year we can go ahead and get a quote from them for property casualty and workers' comp.
Point of clarification for me, please. The workers' comp renewal that we just approved, was that for Assured Partners or was that for a specific company?
It was for a specific company that Assured Partners is representing for the $44,000.
Okay.
WMR.
I really wish we would have approved a workers' comp renewal with the company because it looks like we're paying Assured Partners a insurance fee and a what's the word I'm looking for? Consultant fee, and that's illegal in the state of Indiana.
So do we need to maybe back up and reword our motion on number 9? I'm concerned that we did not word that properly.
It's Liberty Mutual is who it's going to go to.
Okay. Could I please ask whoever made that motion to rescind their motion? Mr. Hawkins, could you please rescind your motion and make the motion to renew with Liberty Mutual? Because I'm afraid we're going to get in trouble or get Assured Partners in trouble if we don't fix that.
Madam President, I would like to rescind, modify my motion to approve the contract with Liberty Mutual for the workers' compensation insurance.
And that is item number 9 on our agenda, on the action items. Okay.
And I'll second
Mr. Blackton, he seconded.
that. Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Or rescind my second.
And then second.
And then second again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Then go ahead and vote again. I know, number 9.
Okay. so, all those in favor of item number 9, or action item number 9, workers' compensation renewal with Liberty Mutual, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
And I apologize, when I read the agenda, I didn't catch that then. It was just like, as you were explaining it, and then we went to the next one, and then I realized it was Assured Partners, and Assured Partners was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the question, do we pay them $15,000 to bid out and then they get the bid? It's a good idea. Something's wrong with it.
Thank you all for your patience on that one.
We still need a vote on it. We have
Okay.
a motion and a second.
Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments on the workers' compensation fee?
Consultant.
I'm sorry,
Consultant.
consulting fee.
I'll move to approve the workers' compensation.
No,
No, we have a motion.
We have a second.
We did, okay, sorry.
Discussion.
Well, I was just saying more questions,
Oh.
comments, yeah.
I apologize.
This is consulting, doesn't say.
Yeah.
So they want consulting fee. Okay.
Okay.
Who made the motion?
They'll make the motion and they'll second. So I'm good with it.
Did the motion include consultant fee?
Do we just go paper? It just said compensation fee. It says workers' consulting fee. It's compensation consulting, okay.
Bill, we need you to do your magic again.
Madam President, item 10, I'd like to rescind my motion for the fee for Assured Partners and modify that to represent that I'm making a motion for acceptance of the consultation fee with Assured Partners for $15,000.
Okay.
I rescind the second and second the motion.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Y'all should call me too, first time. Okay, all those in favor of the Assured Partners workers' compensation consulting fee, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay. All right, next we have resolution to transfer money from the education fund.
Yes. This is the last one for 2019, so we can close our books, balance them and everything. So the administration is submitting the attached resolution to transfer $2.3 million from the education fund to the operations fund for those expenditures that are to be paid for by the operations fund. So we're asking permission to move $2.3 million. On the cash flow, I showed $2 million, I wasn't sure, so I was off $200,000.
Board, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the resolution to transfer money from the educational fund.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
How much of this represents the 15? Are we limited to 15% for this one also?
Yeah, it's 15% in total, so we can go up to 7.5 million. So we're under that.
This is for 2019.
Correct. Yeah, we haven't done one.
next time, I'm sure.
I'm still trying to close last year's.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the resolution to transfer money from the education fund, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And next we have turf field projects.
I'm recommending the approval of professional services agreement with Wolpert Inc. for the turf field at Charlestown High School and Jeffersonville High School in the amount of $49,900. As part of the turf projects, Wolpert Inc. will provide land surveying, geotechnical engineering, and civil engineering services to assist Greater Clark County Schools in providing the required permits for a new synthetic turf field at Jeffersonville High School and Charlestown High School. The funds are coming from year one of the facility plan bonds and have already been approved by the board. The fees are listed below here, where at Charlestown High School, $24,700, Jeffersonville High School, $24,700, and estimated reimbursable expenses, $500. If you remember, on the baseball field project, we didn't have to do this because of the square footage requirement. Since the football fields have more square footage, we have to do this and make sure there are no hidden surprises, in the soil and how we're going to drain, the turf fields and things of that nature. So, and getting this done will allow us to really zero in on a contract price with the Moaks Group after this is complete.
Board, may I have a motion, please?
I move to approve the professional services agreement with Wolverine Inc. for the turf fields at Charleston High School and Jeffersonville High School in the amount of $49,900.
Thank you, Katie. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill. You got any questions or comments? All those in favor of the turf field projects, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And we have the award of the bus bid. Chad Shank.
Good evening, Board. Well, one thing I can assure you is in 2 years, we won't be canceling the check for $800,000+. What you see, and I'll look into that. What you see before you is presented on November 6th of 2019 at our board meeting. We asked for permission to use the cooperative purchasing agreement, which is an e-procurement program set up through the Central Indiana Education Service Center. And you granted that permission. We're getting that 2019 pricing that was attached for the buses. These buses are being partially funded by the IDEM grant that was the Department of Environmental Management. That was the Volkswagen settlement to the state of Indiana. Through that IDM grant, back in June, we had those buses spec'd and priced out using that UPA process. Excuse me. So as a reminder, this is how most districts in the state purchase school buses. Most use that e-procurement through the Central Indiana Educational Service Center. The IDEM grant was for $579 to purchase 8 buses that are 2019 or newer, and those are diesel buses. And the balance of the money needed to purchase the entire fleet of buses that we're asking for approval tonight will come out of 2 other revenue funding sources, 2019 bond issue, and also money from the operation fund, and that's broken down for you as well. Once again, we're asking for permission tonight with the Midwest Transit Equipment. They received the low bid through that e-procurement website, through the Indiana Central Educational Service Center. We're asking for 7 buses that are 36 passenger. They're spec. That totals $784,355, and then 1 78 passenger bus for a total of $98,143. And if you're wondering why does a 78 passenger bus actually cost less than a 36 passenger bus, Dr. Clayton knows full well because of all of the added safety features on the special education bus. Biggest piece of that is the wheelchair. I'll entertain any questions regarding the request for purchase.
May I have a motion for the board?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the award of bus bids as submitted.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? No?
You've done a good job.
All those in favor of the award of bus bid, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Thank you.
Excuse me, she's got a question.
No, I don't, I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't want to ask about that bid?
What?
Central Indiana?
No, I don't.
All right.
That's a sidebar, I apologize.
Thank you.
All right, and the IDOE STEM Acceleration Grant Acceptance, Dr. Hart.
Good evening, Board. We are so excited about this opportunity. On December 20th, we were informed by the DOE that we were awarded, we were one of 33 school districts awarded in the state the STEM Acceleration Grant in the amount of $100,000. Through this grant opportunity, we'll provide all of our students in K through 12. We were very diligent to make sure we touched every single student in our district with these funds. With high-quality STEM learning through access to evidence-based curriculum. And the different curriculum that we're going to be using are code.org, Computer Science First, Codelicious, Project Lead the Way launch in our elementary buildings, and then a project coupled with Indiana University entitled Project Green. Computer science is now a requirement by the state, so this is allowing us to get ahead of this and get this embedded across our schools. We will support our teachers by providing them professional development they need to successfully implement the new curriculum. We will engage in strategic planning to pursue IDO STEM certification for our new square, Franklin Square Elementary. In designing this program, we selected the Project Lead the Way launch, Code.org, Codelicious, and Computer Science First by Google to help us accomplish our goal to intentionally create meaningful STEM learning experiences for all of our students. We'll use the Project Lead the Way programming in pre-K through 5. This consists of different modules that empower students to adopt a design thinking mindset through activities, projects, and problems that build upon each other and relate to the world around them. Code.org is an online library of lessons with a specific focus on coding and embedded PD for teachers. Codelicious is an engaging computer science program that focuses on coding while building skills in critical thinking, problem solving, and perseverance while reinforcing social and emotional learning competencies. Computer Science First by Google is a computer science curriculum that makes coding easy and fun to learn through the use of video-based activities with different themes like sports, art and game design. Each of those programs caters to a specific grade level, which is, there's, as you heard, lots of overlap there, but they're specific to grade levels. We chose these specific programs because they are engaging and they fit with our overall belief that STEM and computer science should be an integrated part of the classroom curriculum. In addition to this curriculum, we'd like to offer an educational experience called Project Green for our middle and high school students at New Washington Middle High School. This was selected because of the rural location and a strong FFA program. By partnering with Indiana University, P through 16 Center, and Munster High School, we will be able to create a hands-on, intensive, collaborative, authentic problem-solving STEM experience in which students will be able to work with another school to learn about biodynamic farming and systems thinking and how real-world engineers work and emphasize 21st century skills, including teamwork, collaboration, and communication, by building a robot that will work in this project. We've included the timeline below for you to see how we plan to implement that in the district.
Is that it? No. I didn't know if you were going to go over the timeline, but I was
No,
like.
I was just, unless you have specific questions, but I just wanted you to know there's a lot of information there. I want you to know that we have strategically thought about how this is going to roll out and how we will prepare teachers to be able to implement this in classrooms.
Okay. Board, may I have a motion, please?
Move that we accept the STEM acceleration grant of $100,000.
Thank you, Kate. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, John. Any questions or comments?
I'd just like to comment that I think this is a very good product for us to be, or program, set of programs for us to work through. I went to Jeff High, I graduated from Prairie Park Schools, And with your math courses, I really didn't pay attention because I didn't think it was very useful to me. And I went to speed school, and it was an absolute disaster because I was in there with guys from Trinity and St. X already had 2 years of calculus, and I couldn't even do trig. And one of the courses I had to take was a physics course. And I remember the core professor very well. He took a toy car, he rolled it across the table and said, "It's going to stop right here." And it did. And we asked him how he did that. He explained he used the coefficient of friction. He ran all the math on it. And that excited me. And I was I'm going to learn this because I can actually predict the future and I can predict things that, you know, it didn't do any good because I was already too late. So this is good because it gets the kids involved early on in learning that there's a practical application of what they do, what they're learning here now.
We are very excited about it because it is going to allow our students to, see it firsthand, because they all don't do well when we say pencil and paper and work this out. And when they see it, it's very enticing. And this was a very competitive application process. I'd like to thank our team, Ms. Wesley, Ms. Bauer, Jason Graves. We all feverishly, it was a very tight timeline, but we're very excited that we were awarded this and get to see it in action across all levels. So
Coding is really huge, and to be able to do that primary focus is going to really put some kids way ahead. So keep going. Thank you.
by the time they get in high school, they'll be rocking and rolling.
Oh, man.
That's why professional development's important.
I'd just like to compliment you guys. I appreciate all these grants that you get. I know it takes a lot of work.
All those in favor of the IDOE STEM Acceleration Grant of $100,000, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, thank you. We have one public comment on our agenda item, David McCormick. When you come to the podium, if you would state your name and your address. And you will have 3 minutes, and there's a 46 beeps at 30 seconds. Thank you.
My name is David McCormick. Address is 3106 New Chapel Road, Jeffersonville, Indiana, 47130. All right, I prepared a statement. This is the first time doing it. I'm here for my children, Elise and Kelly McCormick, who both attend Utica Elementary, grade school. Just to clarify, I'm speaking up for keeping our current staff for art, music, and physical education. Theirs are just as important as math and science, and I don't think we would ever replace those areas with lower quality, high turnover staff. Music and art is very important to my family. Both my sister, my ex-wife's sister are music teachers. Both went to great efforts in becoming highly trained certified professionals. The impact that music, art has had on my children is huge, especially my daughter. It's provided her an outlet for her fears and frustrations, but more importantly, inspires her hope, humor, and kindness. And I think we can all agree that our world needs it. I could speak to the numerous studies, facts, and figures that clearly show the huge impact that our highly skilled staff has on our students, but I only have to look at my daughter to find all the evidence I need. She actually aspires to impact future generations through art. We even discussed with her mother and I, but she wishes to develop her own channels of inspiration on social media outlets. I want her to hold off on that for now. But for this to have happened, in order for her to get inspired for it, it wouldn't have happened without the massive efforts put in by the professionals in those specific fields: art, music, physical education. I can speak to my experiences. I can certainly speak to my sister's efforts in becoming a full-fledged certified teacher. But most importantly, I'm inspired by them, by many of the members of the board and people in attendance, the dedication, the efforts that go in becoming a teacher, a highly trained professional. and I want to support teachers. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. All right, we now have board and superintendent comments, and I would like to let Mr. Lochner speak first, as he has a statement to read about the related arts program.
Yes, as all of you know in the audience and all of our community members know, we've been talking about our related arts program, for about 8 months as part of the strategic planning process. And we feel like we've come up with a resolution that really is good for everyone. It's a good compromise, I believe. It is up here. I will read it real quick. As you know, while exploring whether a different model could be cost-effective and more consistent, we received feedback from board members, community members, staff members, and students. After much research, thought, deliberation, and dialogue, we have decided to shift our strategic planning on this topic to the bullet points listed below. First bullet point says, for 2020-2021, each grade Clark Elementary student will be scheduled in an art, music, PE, technology, STEM, and media lesson 1 day each week or the equivalent. That's bullet point number 1. Bullet point number 2, for the 2020-2021 school year, we will hire 4 extra duty positions to receive a stipend for coordination and collaboration of common programming in art, music, physical education, and technology media. Basically that, they will develop 30 consistent lessons for all schools to teach across our district, so that we get consistency across our district. There also will be quarterly collaboration and articulation meetings with those extra duty positions so that we get consistency across the district. Bullet point number 3, for 2020-21, we will invest in educational fund money into equalizing resources at the 11 elementary schools in art, music, and PE. And also as of right now, the technology media area already has an annual allotment of money to that area. So basically, with that bullet, we want to make sure every school has the equipment supplies they need, and that nobody is left out in that regard. Okay. Bullet point number 4, we will introduce the related arts specialist job description for use when qualified teachers are not available. But when candidates with other worthy credentials are available. And basically, that ties right into bullet point, the last bullet point. Basically what we're saying there is when an elementary related arts position opens up, we will make every effort to hire a certified specialist to replace that person. However, if a certified replacement cannot be found, the district will look at candidates that fit the related arts specialist job description. So we feel like this is a good compromise that as people leave those positions, like I said, we will make every effort to hire a certified specialist, whether it be art, music, PE, technology. However, if we can't find a certified specialist, we will look at the classified option. Because there may be a classified option that has a lot of experience in art, PE, technology, or music that can come in and do that job. So, in conclusion, while the original exploration was looking to cut funding and really cost savings, this plan will actually be investing funding back into the arts programming and provide the district a consistent model that can be implemented at each elementary school. So, we feel good about, this is a good compromise moving forward. We're going to build consistency within our programming across each elementary while leaving the door open to looking at that classified specialist position if we can't find a certified specialist when a job opens up. So I just want to make that statement to the board. The only action the board will have to take at either the next meeting or the meeting after that is an approval of that job description for a related arts classified specialist. That would be, and then in the future, if we ever use that job description, it would be on the personnel report. So,
I have a question.
yes.
So when those jobs are posted, it will be posted as a certified teacher
Yes.
in that area?
In that.
Not a general ed, but in that specific area?
Correct.
Okay. And then if all of our work we can't find somebody in that particular area, then we come back to the board and let us know that before we go out and hire somebody else? Or-
Yes.
Okay, thank
Absolutely.
you.
We'll keep you informed.
Thank you.
But we will have the job description in place
Yes.
if we need it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So in the event we find a bachelor's degree music person from IU, they might not have a teacher degree, but they're interested in that position and still performing arts somewhere else, that would be a great
That'd be
potential.
A great positive.
I've got a sister who will do that, so.
But just wanted to clarify, the direction we're heading with this, and really, that we want to move that direction and sort of conclude this discussion on related arts and what we want to do so everybody knows what we want to do moving forward. And we will communicate this out to, we've already talked to our principals. We're going to talk to them again on Thursday and make sure this word gets out to all staff, especially in our elementary schools.
Do you anticipate from the fact that we're going to standardize so that every student has art, music, PE, and technology, do you anticipate that there will be some movement of staff? Or do you believe that the existing staff that we have now can accommodate that?
I'm going to defer to Karen on that. I believe that we can accommodate it as the staffing is right now, but I'm going to defer.
As referenced in our reports before, the vast majority are general elementary certified. So moving forward, right now, I don't think we have to move anyone around. If we are able to hire more specialized certifications, we would get to a situation eventually where we would be pigeonholed, so to speak, and so we have to explore that. If we end up having a number of specialists on board, specialists have the same flexibility as the general ed licensed, so they can work as directed. So honestly, that's going to be a logic puzzle we'll have to solve along the way. But right now, we'll be fine going into the next year.
Okay, thank you.
And I have shared this with Mark Felix, our association president, and he has shared with me that he feels like this is a good compromise, and moving forward, it would work for both sides. So we feel good about this direction.
Well, I appreciate the hard work that you have put into this. I think it is a good compromise, and I know that our certified teachers are satisfied, at least I hope they are, that we will continue to look for certified teachers in these schools.
Board comments? Ms. Vicki?
Yes, if you all would indulge me for just a minute, I would like to explain my no on a couple of the leadership positions. I voted yes for Janelle because Janelle had a conversation with me and spoke to me, and I told her I would vote for her. My no on the other two positions is more because I didn't get any communication. I just got an email that said these nominations are going to be made and this is what's going to be done. That felt to me like there had been discussions and 4 votes and that was what was going to happen. I don't want to do business that way moving forward. So my no is really just to us doing business that way, not communicating and just not asking each other for support. I didn't feel like that was appropriate. And Janelle, my request moving forward is that as board president and as the leader, that you will kind of hold us all accountable to being better at communicating and making sure all board members have all the information they need to make decisions.
I certainly will, whether you like it or not.
Thank you.
Ms. Burgess?
Yes, I have 2 things. Last week I was able to attend the simulation demonstration at Charlestown High School with REMC. And, we're talking about real world applications with our curriculum. And on this side of the gym, our auditorium, was the, I think it was the geometry class. not very many girls in there, darn it. But the geometry class, no, here, I think it was the engineering kids. But anyway, the REMC board, the entire board, including the CFO, was there. And the demonstration was incredible. And these kids are going to get 16 weeks of instruction from the REMC staff and employers. They're going to come to the school and they're going to show them real world things. They have a lab set up, the simulations, and they let them ask questions. And I was so disappointed, not one student asked, so how much money will I make? I mean, that's always the first question, isn't it, from kids? And so I asked it. And he said that if the student does a good job and comes to their apprenticeship program and does their whatever, 18 weeks, they could come out of there making $100,000 a year plus benefits. So I'm pretty proud of that. And I think it's a great partnership, and I'm happy. Second thing we have a person sitting at this board table that I would like to recognize because his university recognized him on Saturday. Reverend Dr. Milton L. Clayton was recognized at Oakland City University, and he was inducted into the Intercollegiate Athletic Hall of Fame. So I'd like to congratulate you and thank your wife for holding picture of the award. I couldn't get the award here, but I couldn't get that done.
Well, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Not the same thing?
It's sort of, I try to be humble and stuff like this.
You ran track, right? You were very fast.
Normally it's something for basketball players, but I was honored in the fact that all my records at the school stayed in place until they converted over to meters in the KIAC conference. Those records stayed. I think the thing that I like most about that is that being a small school, we defeated the University of Louisville, Indiana State, Ball State, Southern Indiana, Southern Illinois, the fall relays, and Ben Sands, I held the track record there at 9.4 before that same race tore a muscle. So that was, I don't know why, but anyway, I was honored for that, and I appreciate it. But I was the only track person that's been given that honor. But I had a good coach, so he changed some things, and I became great. That's hard to say.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Hawkins?
Well, I didn't plan what to say here, but I got to thought about it today. This represents 1 year for several of us here on the board, and for me, it's been a very enlightening learning experience. I have a great appreciation now for politicians, even though they carry a bad name possibly in the press and in the public eye. They do put an awful lot into what they do, and yes, we have to be voted in office, so I see us as politicians. And I also want to thank and give some due respect to the previous board members, Mr. Clayton, Ms. Hutchinson, Ms. Gilkey, and Ms. Perkins, to thank you for helping us to blend in, to fit, and to accomplish the goals that we've got set before us. And, thank you very much. Appreciate that work that you guys have done for us.
I just want to say, Dr. Clayton, the yards to meters thing, you're losing some out there. But, congratulations, and I appreciate the older board members or the more senior on the board helped throughout this year as well. So. No, I said the more senior on the board. I would like to say this, And honestly, you as well, Ms. Perkins, you're a very kind person as well as a good board member. And that's really means a great deal.
Dr. Clayton?
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out on this fall day. Now, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring, but it's fall day.
That's right.
I think it's going to be good tomorrow. Again, I would like to thank each and every board member for their input. And that as we go forward to vote your conscience, everything does not have to be 7-0. There's certain ways you feel about something, and we should respect each other's viewpoints. Sometimes you may not get a portion, and I've been accused of not looking at the computer, but at the same time, I don't put my name on some things because, you know, it's accountable when you sort of type it on it. So I've learned a lesson on that. So Mark, I want to thank you for your insight and your vision for the future. Sometimes we fail to understand that we need to look forward and not always look backwards. There's things that we have to do, and our finances are not the greatest in Indiana, but we have to make some decisions. Greater Clark is a great school system. Believe it or not, you sit in a great school corporation. I've been across the state, Evansville, Gibson County, which is Princeton, and Oklahoma City, Terre Haute, Lake County. So I can tell you a little about each one of those school systems. We've got a good school system. I graduated from New Albany, and I'll tell you right now, we're better than New Albany.
We were Friday night.
But anyway, it's always good to look at other people, but we have a record of greatness here. And I want to thank the officer in the back. I see him at every ball game. He puts in a lot of time. I'm surprised you haven't yanked me out of the bleachers. But I paid to go to a ball game and holler. After that, I'm quiet. But some people take it outside the gym. I don't. But anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Hutchinson?
I just want to thank the new board members for being here and joining this with us. I want to thank Mr. Lochner for deciding to invest in the arts. I know I spoke with someone today and I said, I thought you were supposed to do this the same way. Well, we did. As a committee, we got together, like these 15 things to save us money. And so we tried some of them, and what we found out through a lot of hard work, thank you guys so much for your efforts, is that this is an area where it would pay off financially and academically and socially to actually invest in it. So I'm really proud of this board for sticking with it. I'm really proud of our community. Everything for the most part was really positive and very supportive. Thank you.
Madam Chair, could I say one thing? First, no one said it. I want to thank Katie Hutchinson for the job she did for the past year, because she brought humor. And unless you can laugh at some of this stuff, you've got a problem. But I appreciate the humor. I like jokes myself, but I thought you brought a different personality to this board. I don't care who didn't like it. I like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to like speaking almost last. But, I agree. I'll be much more serious, of course, but thanks for voting me in, and I'm very honored to be able to serve in this capacity. First year on the board has been a very, I want to say humbling experience, but humiliating, humbling, yeah, that's it. And it's just a whole different world than being in the school system and teaching or whatever. So, I came on with a couple of really good guys, and we worked together in our campaign, and we're still working together. And You know, my goal for this year is my goal, but I hope maybe is for us to even build more trust on the board with each other and communicate better, and I think both of those things go together. We just build it from what we did this past year. But thank you all for being here, and we need you all to be part of all of this, you know, so thank you very much.
Do I get to talk?
You have 3
Wait,
minutes.
okay, no, I won't talk that long. I just want to echo all your sentiments in terms of just, it's amazing, just like this related arts, I thought the same thing that Kate thought, where we started and where we ended up. We started amazing.
Completely different, yeah.
And that's fine, you know, in my seat as superintendent, that, you know, a lot of these ideas are, it's a journey, you know, and where it goes, it goes. And we're not always going to agree on every single thing, and that's up to you guys to make that vote. I want to echo Milt's sentiment about, you know, we have a high-quality school district here in Greater Clark. And a perfect example of that is the article Tara wrote about our graduation rate and what we do with our students in terms of graduation rate, especially the non-waiver graduation rate, that we have the highest non-waiver graduation rate in this area easily, surpassing New Albany, Floyd, Clarksville, all the districts around us by a good, you know, 5 to 8%. And that means our principals, our teachers, counselors are working real hard with these students to make sure they get a quality education and they get a diploma that's not a waiver. And so, you know, that was a very fine piece and really said a lot about our school district. So, thank you.
Renee? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
All opposed?